time travel was definitely the hardest part to tame in the script, just because it's an element that can so easily, the explanation of it can so easily take over your whole story. So I looked at the Terminator movies, the first and second Terminator in particular, and how they use time travel to set up a situation, and then time travel kind of gets out of the way and lets that situation play out. That was kind of my basic approach to it, but you still have to be vigilant and just, keep those instincts to explain everything tamed back, I guess. I don't think it's a very complicated movie. That's the thing. It seems odd to say, but if you actually draw out a timeline of the events, there's only really one alternate split in it. It's actually a fairly linear thing that takes place. It's funny though, even though I was actually actively trying to avoid red herrings because I wanted it to be as clean and clear a line as possible, part of the fun of something like this is seeing how people interpret different things. Like I've had people ask me, everything from is Sid a younger version of Joe, which had never in my head was that the case, or is Kid Blue, kind of the cowboy character, a younger version of Jeff Daniels? Which the answer again is no, I never thought of it that way, but that's a really cool idea. So it's fun putting it in front of audiences and seeing what people grab onto. That was something that really excited me, and it excited Bruce too. That's one of the first things we talked about is, when Bruce Willis shows up in the movie, the audience has a certain amount of expectations, especially in a movie like this. They think he's going to have a plan to fix everything and save the day by finding the right person and killing them. And that got me really excited that the audience would hop on that train immediately, because the movie then takes that and uses that and turns that back against itself and maybe takes a closer look at exactly what that means. And so to me, I was really excited specifically about having Bruce in that part. Besides the fact that he's just an extraordinary actor, what the audience's expectations are of him would play out really interestingly in that context, I thought. There were a lot, actually. We have about 45 minutes of deleted scenes, of really good deleted scenes, I think. Like scenes that individually, some of them are my favorite things from the film. But, part of the process of cutting a movie is you just have to be brutal, and you have to really just look at what's best for the thing as a whole. And we're going to put the scenes just separately as deleted scenes on the DVD. And hopefully it'll be the sort of thing where they'll be fun to watch, but when you see them, you'll see... You can always kind of understand why they had to go. If I am going to look directly for influences, I try and look outside of the genre to try and get some fresh blood in there, because you know that stuff is going to be baked into it, because those are the movies I grew up loving and knowing, and I just take it for granted a lot of that's going to seep in there. So for the city stuff where Joe's hanging out with his friends, I watched French New Wave films, I watched Godard films for that loose kind of part, that loose kind of young person type feel. And for the farm stuff, I watched Witness more than I watched any sci-fi movie. But in terms of like 12 Monkeys and Blade Runner and all that stuff, I think our brains are so seeped in that anyway, being fans of the genre, I just figure that's going to make its way in there anyway. To me, it's, or at least that's not what I'm thinking now. I mean, I like stories where it feels like it's taking it to the very end of where it can go at the end of it. And to me, I never conceived this as like the start of a franchise. I conceived it as a movie. Conceived it as a story unto itself that you can sit back and hold the whole thing in your head. So no. And also, at this point, I've been making this thing for 4 years. I'm ready to do something else.